All right, workplace and apprenticeship 20. Oh, look at that. We even kind of got a head start on class there. Even before the bell rang, we did attendance. Nice. So workplace and apprenticeship 20. This is 2.4, part 2. 2 of 2. And we talked about pie charts. Pie charts. We talked about pie charts in the first part of 2.4. And when we look back to here, so they call them circle graphs. We called them pie charts, affectionately. Pie charts. Okay, so part 2, this is what we're looking at for part 2. Jasmine surveyed students at her college to find out how they commute to school. So commute means how they get to and from school. The results are shown in the table below. Create a circle graph of the data. Oh, okay, so now what we have to do is we have to create a circle graph. Interesting. So we're going to start with a blank circle, and we're going to have to create the sections. So we have to decide the size of each section and how to do that. So we are going to need some geometric utensils here by the looks of it. Okay, so we'll take a look at that when we come to it. Okay, so the means of travel here. So here's the different means of travel. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sections. And here's the number of people in each section. Okay. So in order to draw a pie chart, a circle graph, we need to know how many people in total we're talking about. Okay? So step 1 is to calculate the total data, and we have to figure out the proportions of each. So the total number of people, we simply add up all the numbers and we get 200. Does everyone see that? So you have to first of all add up all the numbers to get your total. Then you have to find out what percentage each section is. So the car is 75 people, and that's going to be 75 out of 100. So do you see how you get this decimal? 75 divided by 200 is 0.375. So that is 37.5%. Everyone see that? The next section is carpooling, which is 20 people, and you repeat the process. 20 divided by 200 is 0.1. That is 10%. Okay? Now I think we should round these to the nearest percent. What do you guys think? 30, whoops, what am I doing? 38. Let's do 38%. Okay? Motorbike is 5 people, so 5 out of 200. That's 0.025, which is 2.5%. That's right. Move that decimal place over 2 times, okay, to get percent. And so 0.05 is 5%. 0.075 is 7.5, which we should round. Well, we rounded the other one up. Let's at 0.5. Let's do this one down. Okay.
What about the 2.5?
Yeah, 2.5. Let's round that one up too. Okay. So if now you don't have to round, because this might not add up to exactly 100% if you round like that. So that's a bit of an issue. But I mean, if we're talking about putting these on a pie chart, rounding might be okay, because we're talking about angle. So we'll see. We might use the exact decimals, okay? Because these are all 0.5, so that's okay. So next page, we keep going here. Now this is the important step here. We have to convert somehow. We have to make each one of these percentages into a certain size of a slice of the pie chart, right? And so we have to convert the percentages, or the decimals, if we use the decimals, to degrees. Okay? So the car was 37.5 degrees. So we will use the full decimal here. And we will multiply the decimal times 360. Why would we choose 360 here? Because the whole circle is 360. That's exactly right. Yeah. And so 0.375, we'll use the full decimal, times 360. This is where we'll round if we have to, okay, for the degrees. Let's do it that way. So 0.375 times 360 is exactly 135. Okay? 135 degrees. So let's figure out the degrees for each, which they did here. Take the decimal or the percent on your calculator, doesn't matter, times 360. So we get the degrees. So the step 2 is finding the degrees for each section. So you take the fraction or the percent and multiply that by 360. Okay? Okay. All right, so this is what we're going to do now. Step 3 is the big one. How many of you have a protractor? I don't imagine you brought a protractor with you today. Anyone? Did anyone? Okay. I have some. I have 1, 2, 3. We're going to need some more. We might have to share a little bit. But we're going to be using a protractor to draw the size of angles. So you see on your protractor, what you'll see is that we have 0 here, and then it goes up 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and so on. And that's the size of the pie chart. So the degrees match up with the degrees on the protractor. Okay? So let's pause and handle the protractor. All right, guys, so this is what you're going to do on your circle. You got to find the center. That's the best approximation of the center of your circle. And you're going to want to draw it with either your protractor or a straight edge of some sort, just a radius. And we'll start from the middle to the right, maybe. Okay? So what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to put sections on our circle that match up with these degrees. So let's start with 27. Okay, I want a nice, small, acute angle. Let's start at the bottom there, 27. So this is what you're going to do. You've got a protractor now. Now this one, again, this is going to cover my circle, so it's not going to be perfect. But watch what we're going to do. Oh, that doesn't look too bad. It's not covering that one. Okay, so I don't know how well I can move this. I don't think super well. I can't line it up quite right. That's a little disappointing. Let's see if I can do this. Okay, there we go. Move it over a little bit. Come on there, buddy. So, and there we go. Okay, so you see you got to line up the middle part with the very center, and then this line that goes, the radius that we just drew has to line up with the 0 exactly. You got that? Okay, got it? All right. So 27, again, you're going to use, are you going to use the inside numbers or the outside numbers here if we're starting from this and we're going to go 27 degrees up? You're going to use the inside numbers. Start at 0. You're going to go 10, 20, and if you look carefully, so this is 20, and we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and you're going to make that little mark. Okay, so 27, just on right here on top of your protractor, a little mark somewhere there. Okay, then we're going to move this over, and now we're going to draw a line from the center right through. Wow, that's terrible. Okay, right through those lines. Now I'm doing this because I got to move it over a bit. Okay. Okay, so mine's kind of bad, but you get the picture, right? So you want to put it right between those, right on those lines. Oh, there we go. Okay, so now this is 27 degrees. And that represents, you probably don't have to put that on there, but that represents what? Walking. Okay? So let's do on the side, let's do like walking. And we'll make little hashed mark like that. So this is going to be like this. See that? There you go. So you match that up. So you that's how you use your protractor. Now what you got to do, it's going to be a little bit tough because I don't know if I can do this on my computer, but yeah, I don't think I can twist it. You can't twist it. But what you have to do is you have to line your protractor up, and I'll just draw it here, okay? So you have to line your protractor up. Let's say I have a blue protractor here. You're going to line your protractor up now on this new line right here. So that matches up with that one, okay? Here's your protractor, okay? Looks like this. And you start with 0 here. And then the next one is going to be 18. You see, we did this one already. We're going to do 18 now. That's going to be bicycle. So you find out, so there's 90 right there. So you go up, there's 10 and there's 20. So 18, this is 20, this is 10. 18 is going to be right there. You see that? And then you draw a line from here, straight line, through that line. And this is your walking, okay? Whatever. Oops, not walking. I just did walking. Bicycle. So bicycle. You see that? And then you draw your kind of legend there. So, step 1, find out what percentage or at least what decimal each section is of the total. Find the total, find the decimal portion. Then turn that decimal into degrees by multiplying the decimal times 360 or the percent times 360, whatever it is. Then use your protractor to actually measure off the degrees, starting with a radius you know, in your circle, measure off the degrees, make your one section. Tilt your protractor, measure off the next set of degrees. If you have to go past 90, so you go from 0, you go all the way here, like there was one section that's 135, right? You see? So you go all the way over to here. It's going to be a big section of the circle, right? It's going to be like this. Oops, like that. A big section. And you just keep doing that all the way around. And if you do everything right, the last section you shouldn't have to measure. It should be automatically right, the correct number of degrees. Okay? So that's how you make the pie chart, and this is what this one should look like. Okay. All right, so now you're going to get a chance to do this on your own. Here's the circle. So what I want to see is I want to see your work there. So the total, the percentage of each, and then I want you to use your protractor to draw the proper number of degrees. Okay? So I'll let you get started on that because I think you guys can start that, and then I'll check on you in a minute. Okay, so number 4, let's just go through it real quick. So what I did first was I got the total first. So I added up 39 plus 44 plus 21 right here, and that gives us 104. So I knew that that was the total number of pets we were talking about. So the dog, what fraction is the dog of that? Well, 39 over 104, or divided by 104, gives us this decimal. I didn't change it into percent because I'm going to use a decimal anyways later. Cat was 44 over 104, and so that's this decimal, and rodent was 21 over 104, this decimal. So that's the first 2 steps right there. Okay, find the total and find what fraction or what proportion of the total each category is. Third thing you want to do is you want to multiply that decimal by 360 to get the number of degrees. And so here for dog I got 135 degrees. For cat was 152, and for rodent was 73. I also double checked to make sure that those add up to 360. It's always a good idea too, right? Because that's your whole circle. So I kind of rounded some of these decimals, but if you keep your decimals to kind of round to the 3rd decimal place, you should be okay. All right? So then I went over here and used my protractor, and I measured off 135 degrees first. That's this one with the dog. That's 135, and 135 right there. And so I shaded that in according to making that look like the dog over there, so black. I used red for cat, and that was 152 degrees. Okay? And then the rodent was the 73, which happened to be just what's left over. So just a couple words of caution. Try to measure exactly to the degree and use a straight edge to make these lines. Okay? It's a little tough for me to make those lines with a straight edge on here, but you need to use your protractor or a straight edge to line up those little dots that you make and make those lines as straight as possible. Okay? Any questions about 4A? Okay. So that's the whole process of making a pie chart from the information. That's great. Let's read B, and then I'll let you off on B here. Gerard says that the graph does not accurately display the data as there were 24 students who did not have pets, and that this should be recorded. If this data is included, what difference will it make to the size of the sectors? Draw a circle graph to include the sector of students who do not have pets. Okay. So now instead of 3 sections, we need to add another section where we have dog, cat, rodent, and none. So there's going to be 4 sections now. So guess what? If we actually have 24 kids that weren't counted in there, now we have to add our total has to be now 104 plus 24. That's the new total. That's going to be 128. So that's 128 kids now. So now I do the same thing with all of them using the new total. Dog is 39 out of 128. So on. Cat is 44 out of 128. And you do all the way for all 4 sections, make a new circle graph. Okay? So these questions take a little more time than some of the other questions that we've done, don't they? But go ahead and work on B. And after you're done that one, there's number 5 and number 6 looks like too. So that's your assignment for the next 20 minutes or so. Maybe even up to half an hour, we'll see. But I want you to work on the rest of these build your skills questions. Okay, so what you guys should notice here is that the size of each section now has gone down, right? The dog used to be 135 degrees, now it's only 109. The cat used to be 159 degrees, now it's only 124, and so on. And why is that? Because we had to make room for the none section. Okay? So you go ahead and do the new sections and complete your pie chart. Pie chart. So I guess just one last thing, guys, here. When you get your sections there, according to the degrees, it might be a good idea to attach the percentages as well on there, because we have with other pie graphs or circle graphs. And also notice that I did round this one up to 35%, because I rounded this one down to 16, and this one down, and this one up. So just to make sure they add up to 100, I took the one that was close, and I rounded it up. So you want to make sure it's 100 would be nice. Okay, so be an accurate representation. So that's what B should look like there. So you guys can check that out.